Hello, my boys and girls. This is part two to B-roll. We were playing Mortal Kombat 1 because it fell off the wall, and I guess like lately my games want to be played with. They just fall off the wall and let me know like, yo, hey, play with me. So we dusted off the Genesis. We blew inside the cartridge, clicked it on and off a few times, got it running, and we was playing it actually. We was busting that Mortal Kombat. Now, every piece in my room means something to me, and I always tell people there's a story behind every single last piece in this room. It's not like I just got it and put it on the wall. Each piece is a story. Each piece means something. Mortal Kombat. So the story behind this is when my parents were having a divorce. Um, the kids were going through a rough time. Us, we were going through a rough time. Back and forth here, once a weekend here, once a weekend over there, visiting the dad. Things like that. And he wanted to bond with us, so he bought us a Sega Genesis. He kept it at his house, but he bought us a Sega Genesis. So when we came over, we had something to play, something he could get on our levels and do. And he thought Mortal Kombat, he was just going to jump in and just beat the living hell out of us. Turns out he was wrong because we had already played it on Super Nintendo, and we rented it from Blockbuster every weekend along with Mario Kart. That is where Mario Kart began for me. That is another story for another day. But we're Mortal Kombat. Besides the point. So he bought Mortal Kombat, and we went over his house and we played, and we destroyed him. We had people who knew the blood code, so we was able to put the blood code in and make the fatalities much more personal when he got destroyed. So when he died, he was burnt up. He had his heart yanked out, literally like with Kano. His head pulled off his shoulders. Electricity burst into his head and explode. The kiss of death with Sonya, Johnny Cage uppercutting your head off, and if you did it right, you could uppercut 3 heads off. But it's such a great gaming memory because I can remember vividly going over his house in his living room. He had that blue rug. He had his dog there. And we would just sit down on the floor and put the game system on, and we would just game. He'd be like, "Hey, it's time to eat. We still gaming. We still gaming." So we go get the food, eat, and then come back and still gaming and gaming and gaming. And we would game until probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning until we got tired. He'd be asleep, falling asleep. We still be busting games. This and Sonic the Hedgehog was the first 2 Genesis games that I ever played. And the funny part is, I always said when I went over his house, I was like, one day that Genesis is going to be mine. The Genesis may be yours, but it's going to be mine. And sooner or later, it was. It came back with me, and it was mine. Now, the sad part is, over the years, moving from place to place, changing from place to place, we ended up losing that system and didn't have it. So about 7 or 8 years ago, I wanted to start to rehash some of my old school memories, and the Genesis is one of the things that stuck out in my mind the most, because the Sega Mini had come out, and it was, well, this is before the Sega Mini. So I was like, you know what, let me go see what I can do to get a Genesis. And looking around on this place and that place, I wandered up on a garage sale somebody was having, and they had the old Sega Genesis. They had the controllers wrapped up. They had the little switch, the little power piece, and everything else in the back, but they had no games. So they offered $20 for the system, which honestly I believed it wouldn't play. I believed it was, because it was dusty, it was old. I just wanted it because it was a nostalgia piece. I never intended on playing it because I had everything on my PC with emulators. I got the 6-button emulator controller that's modified for the PC. So what did I need a Sega Genesis for? Memories, classic, cartridge, sound, family, those old days with my dad. And when I got it, I cleaned it out. I blew into it, swabbed it out with Q-tips, and I know you're not supposed to use alcohol, but certain areas around it needed some alcohol treatment, so I did some rubbing alcohol treatment. And I was just like, I'm really anxious to see if this thing really works. I got all the pieces there, and I plugged it in, and I clicked the little power switch, and the red light came on, and I was like, I think this joint worked. I think I just got a Sega Genesis original for $20. So I went out looking to collect games. The first games I came across was the Sonic collection. The first Sonic was the not for resale version, and then it was Sonic 2, and then it was Sonic 3. And then I was just like, I gotta get Mortal Kombat. I have to. I started remembering all those fun times of going over his house and playing Mortal Kombat, letting him win sometimes, because you can't just destroy somebody all the time. They don't want to play with you no more. There's no fun in it. So I remember I had to get Mortal Kombat. So I put a line out to a bunch of people like, yo, I'm looking for Mortal Kombat. I'm old school collecting. I'm retro collecting. And a friend of mine, who I didn't know was a fan of the channel in my early years, gifted me with Mortal Kombat. They sent it in the mail with the booklet and the cartridge. Humble, bro. I am nowhere near any of those huge, gigantic YouTubers out there. So the fact that somebody would friend me and give me what I was looking for, red box edition, I'm not worthy. I mean, I'm not worthy of that. But I appreciate the living hell out of you. John K. Simmons from Cedar Rapids. I still have the yellow envelope around here somewhere that they sent it in. I did a whole video back in the day thanking them for it, but I'm just shouting you out again. Thank you. This right here, this is friggin' amazing right here. This was another gaming story that you helped to complete. And like I said, fruits of the labors. Look, it's there. It's there, it's on, it's running. Where's that controller at? So I can hit start. So that you can see, you know. I ain't touching the controller, so he gonna get destroyed. Yeah. He gonna get destroyed. So I'm gonna watch him get destroyed, because we might as well give you a little treat in this video instead of me just talking. Wow, no movement from Shang Tsung, no clouds in the background. There's supposed to be some kind of count, but it's alright. Boom, boom. Yeah, so anyway, this brought back memories. So the story of this was gifted to me by a fan. Absolutely amazing. And then after I got this, I had to go and get 2 and 3. I had to get 2 and 3. I did play 2 with my father back in the day. 3 we never got a chance to play Ultimate. Different systems had come out by then. He had more work, less time for games. You're an adult. It happens. I get it. I get it now, especially since, you know, I'm an adult. But I would have to say it was one of those awesome gaming moments in life. Spotlight on it. Spotlight on Mortal Kombat. Bringing families together, even on a Sega Genesis. Even on a Sega Genesis. That's right. People may not like the system, and since then, I got the emulator. I got the Sega Genesis Mini. It may or may not have all the games put on it. Yeah. So, I'm just going to leave it on this note. This was one of the stories behind the Sega Genesis. So, thank you guys for joining me. And that's the story behind Mortal Kombat 1 for Sega Genesis. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked it. And join me next time. Till then, I'm going to let you run with the outro of Mortal Kombat, Sega Genesis, and all those beautiful 32 bits.